This video is brought to you by Ravenscraft Realty of Northeast Missouri.
That's the first start in like 2.5 months on this tractor. I'd say that's pretty good. I know. I got a haircut, so what? I've been directed to take the 4320 over to our new bin site, where it is going to be used to run a drive-over pit. Hopefully the downspouts are up really fast. It would be nice to actually be able to use those bins. After not moving for a while, there's flat spots in the tires, and this thing is riding very, very rough. Almost there. I'm just now getting headed out to the field where Dad is. So our family has 5 semis, right? Well, not 1 or 2, but 3 of them are broken right now. We almost parked everything for the night without having it lined up next to the road like Niemeyer's. I can't believe this, Dad. Now we are properly lined up. I gotta give these guys rides back to their pickups. Oh yeah, we're back running the Salford again. If you're wondering what this tool actually is and what it does, it's basically 90 giant no-till coulters that do what normal no-till coulters do, is chop up residue. It really doesn't turn the dirt over, it just chops up corn stalks and any other assorted trash that you might find on top of the ground. And this tool rocks. It's way better than any Great Plains turbo till or John Deere vertical tillage tool ever. It's also extremely heavy. I honestly can't believe we used to pull this thing with our John Deere 9460R. This 520 really pulls it a lot better. Another reason for running the Salford back here is to get rid of all the weeds. It got really wet after we planted this corn, and stand wasn't the greatest, and then it was wet throughout the season for the corn, and corn doesn't really like to have wet feet. So there's a lot of weed pressure out here. So part of what we're trying to do is decrease weed pressure for next year and make planting easier. There are some places out here that I ran over a second time just to help take out and bury some of the weeds a little bit more. It's time to quit. I'm gonna play poker tonight on Thanksgiving Eve with my friends. Hashtag can't farm all the time. Morning, everyone. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I did some work yesterday, but it wasn't anything super important or interesting, so I didn't video anything. We were trying to fix this mower here because we tore the corner of it up again, like the 4th time. And we were using the torch to heat it and try to bend it back, but ran out of gas. So I'm gonna load these up in my pickup and we're gonna go to town and get some more. Also gonna run by Side Stricker and get a hydraulic end for the tree puller for the skid steer. Good morning. You know, it always seems like the oxygen and the acetylene run out at the coldest possible time of the year. It's about 20 degrees right now, so it's not super warm. And it got below, I don't think it got above freezing yesterday. I was working outside of the skid steer and there was frozen water in the bucket, so it wasn't too warm. Remember when I said that it was kind of cold outside? Well, when it's cold outside like this, the auto shut-off on our fuel nozzle does not work. So currently there is a railroad spike shoved under the shut-off deal that pops down to keep it from popping down. So we're playing a very dangerous game of how close can I get it to full without spilling diesel everywhere. Observation after running this thing for a few days, it does not use hardly any diesel exhaust fluid compared to the Cummins powered 9RXs that we have. I'm back on the back side of this place, and honestly, it's not really very dry. Watch this. I'm turning around. The implement's not supposed to slide like that. So it just about slid into a tree. We're still doing a decent job of chopping up the corn stalks though, but there's some mud that's starting to pile up on the frame, and it's kind of so-so. But luckily, All I have left to do in this field is the end rows, and then we'll get out to the front side of this place where it's a little more dry. This farm, there's this old railroad bed, and there's a bridge here. It's got the date 1910 on it. That's pretty neat. Never know what you'll find out in the woods. This whole, like for a couple miles, there's an old railroad bed that's mostly grown up in trees. But there's a couple places where there's bridges like that that still are intact. There's a couple of them on my grandpa's farm where he lives. Growing up, I would go down into that draw where all the railroad crossings are, and there's trees down there, and I take a little rifle and my dogs, and I had a good time. That's another farm done. I did not get this field done the last time I was on this farm because I was going to go play poker. It might have gone yesterday for tillage, but it was Thanksgiving, and yeah, I didn't really want to mess with it that much. This field over here is better drying dirt called Menfro that we have in our county. Menfro is a really deep kind of a soil, and it can hold water pretty well. But down here at this end of the field, it's more of a clay pan kind of ground, and it's got, I don't know, 36 inches of good topsoil, and then it's gray clay. This farm is capable of producing very good crops because of the type of soil it is. This is the work that I did with the skid steer yesterday. This whole tree row was full of dead trees, fallen over stuff, limbs, sticks, dirt, you name it. Being an industrious young man, I decided to clean it out. I don't get paid to clean any of that up. I do it because I feel like that's what should be done, and that's what makes it look nice. Down in here somewhere is where the soil type changes. This ground up in here is Menfro, and then down there is the clay pan. Perfectly executed turn. There's an old cemetery out here in this field as well. At one point that cemetery had like 40 trees in it. I took it upon myself with a chainsaw and a hatchet to clear most of the trees. Now there's only like 10 or 12 in there, but there's still work to be done in there yet. I'd like to actually seed it down the grass and be able to mow it once a year. It's not very fun to go around, but we make do. At one time I had ambitions of fixing this house up and living here, but I figure I should probably get back to work. This is another reason why I love Northeast Missouri. I decided to stop for supper since my mom was kind enough to go to town and get Rebel Pig for us. Very thankful. Finally finishing up. With this farm done, that makes 285 acres today. I can work for another 2 hours if I wanted. However, I am out of ground to work. I'm gonna ask Dad once I get back home, or home's like a quarter of a mile away across the highway. But I'm gonna ask him if he wants me to work anything tomorrow, and we'll go from there. New day, new farm. Also, way up in that tree over there, there is a bald eagle nest. There it is, right at the tip of my finger. Kind of see it back there. Every time we're at this farm, there's eagles flying all over the place, doing bald eagle stuff like catching rabbits and then flipping the rabbits up in the air and having another eagle catch it. Just the embodiment of the American spirit. The 520 is not liking this hill. We're gonna have to gear down a little bit. This hill over here, not a match for John Deere horsepower. I finished the farm that I was working on there. It's about like I want to say there was like 135 acres there, and got that wrapped up. Now I'm heading out to take over for our guy Justin because he has somewhere to be pretty soon, and worked out pretty nice. I'm gonna be running the grain cart, and I really haven't done that a whole lot this fall, like at all. Palmyra has their Christmas lights up on Main Street. Palmyra's just a pretty nice place. Palmyra gang forever, Monroe City gang, not it guys. Oh yeah, I've still got the knack for this. Pulled up to the truck perfectly the first time. Another one down. It's about 4:30 and the sun's already going down. It'll be dark by 5 because it's late November and that's what it does. As you can see here behind me, this corn isn't standing the best, so it's not super high yielding. There's decent ears out here, but just can't get them. This corn was also replanted in early June. And the reason we had to replant all of this is because we got it planted early May, you know, just went in perfect. And then about May 8th, it started raining and it didn't stop for 5 days. Oh, and it was about 40 degrees. So corn, cold, wet. That equation resulted in about a half of a stand. And corn, you can't get away with that. Beans, you could probably get away with not having maybe 100% stand. But corn needs to be very close to 100 for it to all work out. This farm is a pretty good sized bottom field. There's about 155 acres over here. There's more ground about a mile away. And all in all, this farm's like 350 acres or so. And look around you. There's nothing to go around, so it's very good running. Going fast. 14th gear. 15th gear. Sun's going down. There's corn in the field. Life isn't so bad. You can see behind me, here's another reason why this corn is not very high yielding. It's full of weeds. Weeds do sap your yield. Oh, and deer have eaten like half of this. And to begin with, it's about as big around as your pinky is, so yeah. It was just really too wet this year for this farm and corn to do very well. Looking down the road, some of it's fell over too, so can't pick up all of it. Over here we have the majestic North River. It's hard to believe, but at one point, this river valley would have been full from that bluff all the way over there, like a half mile to the other bluff. Full of water from the melting glaciers, and that's what formed these river bottoms. For a few minutes there, I had a chance to ride with Dad in the combine. But now there's a full load on the cart here behind me, and I'm going to take it out front. We use the iFarm scale app for our grain cart scale. Just have to grab the iPad out of the tractor every night and make sure it's charged up. Okay. That's enough for tonight. Cummins cold start. Oh yeah, no problems. Cummins Turbo Diesel. I'm checking the Goldinger Farms livestock division out real quick, and looks like everything's on the up and up over here. I get a kick out of the chickens. They're kind of funny to watch. This is what the 4320's been doing for the past 2 days. We're on this drive over pit here with the hydraulics. Seems to be working okay. and it's taking it up to the leg, and the leg's putting it in this bin. All these 20 series diesel tractors have a reputation for being a little cold-blooded, so we have some glow plug in a can. It's absolutely essential for the operation of that tractor. While we're here at the bins, the leg is up, and I have not been up there yet. We're just gonna take a walk up to the top of this good old Midwestern skyscraper. Wow. Absolutely beautiful view here, guys. And that's a long ways down. This is either the artificial highest point in the county or very, very close to the artificial highest point in the county, because we are up a very long ways. You can see Illinois way over there. See Hannibal, Quincy, and right over there is Monroe City. So you can see a lot from up here. Today I'm going to be doing some more skid steer activities, but today I'm going to be using the tree puller instead of the grapple and the bucket. So first I got to get these hydraulic ends undone, and then I actually have to fix that one because I made a little uh-oh. Sometimes these ends can be a little bit difficult, but luckily I have these nice HISEA Outdoors steel toe work boots, so I can do this. See, works a lot better than struggling with it by hand. The steel toe boots that HISEA offers help keep your feet safe around the farm and doing other activities that require steel toe accessories. So what do I honestly think of the HISEA Outdoors boots? Short answer, I give them my approval because they're good boots. What I'm doing here today with the tree puller is, obviously I'm pulling trees, but I'm here in some sort of a structure. I'm here in what is left of an old bank barn. What a bank barn is, it's a barn that's built into the bank of a hill. But this is where the front of the barn that faces the old house was, and it actually was a really big barn from back in the day. Usually the livestock were kept down in the basement or the ground floor of the barn. Trees also have a bad habit of growing in here, and about 6 years ago I came in here with a chainsaw and forgot Tordon. And this is what happens when you forget to use Tordon, is they all come back. Since I have this wonderful, wonderful skid steer here, it's pretty easy to yank these trees and then pile them up and then take care of them. Here's a quick before shot. Tree pullers are awesome. You need one. I got myself switched back over to the grapple so that I can go clean up the messes that I made. I'm using the grapple now because I piled up some of the trees that I pulled, and it's going to be a lot easier to move them all at once with the grapple than it would be with the tree puller individually. I pulled way more trees than I ever thought I was going to. You know, I think I'm going to attempt to knock over this dead tree trunk with this grapple. Let's see, can I just push it? No. Ah, man. I guess I'm not gonna get it today. Sometimes you're better off to drag your piles with the grapple backwards. There's the brush pile we're going to. It's not nearly as fast doing it this way versus just driving with it in the grapple going forwards, but it works. At one time, this whole barn had windows like this all the way around the outside. And they had these iron bars in here. Most of them have disappeared except for this one. And even it isn't really in showroom condition. Here is the after of our cleanup efforts. A barn like this would have been a pretty high-tech setup back in its day. In this area just right here, there probably would have been cattle, as there's pegs over here for gates, and there's space further apart, so I can surmise it was probably for a larger animal. You could probably put whatever other animals you could want over there. And then you had the whole upstairs of the barn for your equipment, hay, and crops and things like that. Dad says when he was a little kid, the barn actually used to still be standing, and there was an old John Deere pull-type combine in there. When I was a much younger individual, there was a two-row John Deere corn picker and like a truck over there where that kind of orange thing is. Those got scrapped, and that's the end of that story. There's really not a whole lot you can say about it. Plus, they were too far gone to fix, even though present me would have probably said, oh, no, how about we try and fix it? Trying to fix things that are really, 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 really old and rusty and broken is usually a good way to spend a lot of money for zero gain. Top 10 things for any farmer to own, and number one on that list should be a skid steer, because these things rock. I didn't really elaborate, but this is the job that Salford does on corn stalks. Look at all the little pieces of corn stalk that thing made. It's amazing. It's starting to get kind of late in the day, and it's a Sunday, and it's no longer Thanksgiving break, so I gotta go back to Columbia. I still have time to say goodbye to you. You're a good dog. I'll be home again this Friday, ready to do some more fun farming stuff. And there's 2 weeks of class left at Mizzou, and after that semester's over, and I won't have to go back until sometime in early January. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and thanks for sticking around. If you did like it, consider subscribing, tell a friend, like the video, that helps out too. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.